Hey there, all you true crime fans. I'm Amanda,
And I'm Corey.
and this is Colorado Crime. If you're new here, we're just two best friends who want to be your new best friend while we chat about all things true crime. We cover cases from coast to coast with a special emphasis on cases that happen right here in colorful, crime filled Colorado. Stop by for the stories, stay for the fun. If you're returning, thanks for stopping by, friend.
Well, kids, it's time for another terrible dad joke. Are you ready?
I'm never ready for these jokes. But go on.
What do lawyers wear to court?
What?
Lawsuits.
No, it's still terrible. Ah,
Hey, and thanks to all you true crime fans that are sending me all these dad jokes to read on the air. I'm going to pick one. I have enough probably to pick for the next 15 episodes. So thanks so much. Shout out to my sister Annie, who sent me like 15 today.
get it, Annie. Thanks, Fan
Oh,
Annie.
and
You're the
Brenda sent me
best.
one too. So
Yes, Bren did. I actually read Bren's to my dad last night, and he was like, I like that.
yeah, my sister sent me like 14. She has a dad joke calendar.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. So she sent me all of them while she's been on vacation. So she sent them all to me when she got back.
Yeah, she's being crazy on her vacation.
Mm-hmm.
I would not
Go
want to
fishing.
sleep in that camper thing and go
I
fishing.
know. Yeah. There's no bathroom in there, so you can
Oh,
imagine how that works out.
yeah, that's a no for me, dog.
Mm-hmm. It's 6 dudes and her ice fishing.
Ooh, you
Yeah.
lost me with the 6 dudes.
Yeah, I mean, one of them's my cousin, and one of them is his cousin, and one of them is my sister's boyfriend. So, I mean,
I don't care.
it's still ice fishing, and I don't really like fishing.
Me either. You have to be quiet.
Yeah, I'm
I
not
remember
that
growing
guy.
up, Pat was like, my stepdad was like a big bass fisher. So we would like,
Mm-hmm.
he would go fishing all the time. And I'm like, can we like do something? I fell asleep so many times on that boat. He's
Yeah,
like, shh, you're scaring all the fish away.
it's
Because
just
this
not for
is
me.
stupid. So quiet.
It is stupid.
I don't want to be quiet. That's why we have a podcast.
Right?
All my suppressed
All
conversations.
your suppressed conversations from when you were a child, you're doing on here.
Yeah. All my murder conversations. I was that weird kid though.
We were too, because, well, your dad was a cop, mine was a cop. Like, table chat is different when you're.
Yes.
And my dad was a cop, and my mom was a nurse, so we talked about all kinds of jacked up things.
Oh my God. So I was back at high school on Thursday last week,
Mhm,
and
mhm.
I was talking to this girl. She's like this cute little blonde thing, and like we're chit chatting, and I guess they had like drug sniffing dogs in the day before, and
Oh,
she's like, I text my mom, and I had to tell her, and she was like, well, I hope you don't have your drugs on you, and she goes, no, mom, just my meth and my cocaine, and I was like, oh my God, you are my kindred spirit, like that is so my sense of humor. I send my
right?
stepdad all these, like, drug jokes all the time. It's fine.
Yeah.
People in public are probably like, "What is wrong with you?"
Well, it's always interesting when you hang out with people who aren't, in that, like, I don't wanna say lifestyle, but I mean lifestyle.
Yeah.
Uh When you have to, like, feel out the conversation, like, do I talk about body parts at the table, or
Or is that
do
not
we talk
allowed?
about the weather?
Right. Right. Ugh.
We also have some friends that are in the nursing home business, and that's similar, so we can talk about pretty some pretty jacked up things there too, so
Oh, that would be so sad.
yeah.
I love old people. I don't think I could work with them. I think I have, like, an imaginary collection of them, and Chris always
Oh,
laughs at me, but I think I would bring them home. It's like working with animals. I couldn't
with
do it
animals.
because I would have a menagerie. of humans and animals, old
I know
people and
Candace
pets.
told me, "Hey, you could volunteer at this humane society," and I'm like, I like looked at her, and she's like, "Maybe not.
She's like,
We have 3 dogs.
they don't
How
need
many more
3
dogs are you
more,
looking for?"
but they need a home. It's so sad to me.
Can you imagine just bringing home dogs, cats, birds? Like, look at this hamster.
A hamster.
I don't even like hamsters, but I'd be like, it's so cute.
My mom, because she did animal control,
Hmm.
she used to bring home like squirrels and stuff all the time,
Oh, geez.
and like bottle baby kittens. We had puppies once.
Is she still doing animal control?
She is.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Until they finally decide to abandon me and move away to Nebraska. There's
It's not
nothing wrong with
abandoned.
Nebraska if you're from Nebraska and you're listening. But there is something wrong when you're in Colorado and your parents are abandoning you.
I don't know. I abandoned my parents and I feel pretty good about it.
Well, I mean,
That's
that's
an episode.
different.
That's a story for a different episode. We don't have that kind of time for my emotional trauma.
Same.
Okay.
The abandonment issues are coming in fierce right now.
Right?
It's fine. It's fine. I'm fine.
Whatever.
All right, all you cool cats and kittens, let's get into some true crime updates.
Fantastic.
So, I'm sure everybody knows, but there was yet another mass shooting at another school. On Monday, February 13th, Anthony Dwayne McRae, who was 43, killed 3 students and wounded 5 others at Michigan State University. The shooter had no known ties to the university, and no one's actually sure why he targeted it. He had 2 legal but unregistered handguns and magazines when he was found. Police contacted McRae when they received a description of him walking down the street. Officers stood about 20 feet away from McRae and ordered him to show them his hands. He produced a weapon and then killed himself. It appears on body camera footage that he doesn't say anything to the police prior to him taking his own life. Prior to the shooting, McRae was arrested in 2019 for carrying a concealed weapon without a permit, which in Michigan is a felony. He pleaded guilty to misdemeanor possession of a firearm and spent 1.5 years on probation. The police found 2 pages of notes which indicated that he actually had planned to attack 2 other schools. Ariel Anderson was just 19 years young when her life was so pointlessly taken. She was studying to become a doctor one day. She was the youngest of 3 siblings and graduated from high school in 2021. Alexandria Werner was a 20-year-old junior who was studying biology. She was an exceptional athlete who played volleyball, basketball, and softball. She left behind 2 siblings and her parents. And the final victim was Brian Frazier. He was a 20-year-old president of the Michigan Beta chapter of Pi Delta Theta. He was studying business before his murder. He was described as a great leader and a friend.
Oh, those mass shootings, like, so crazy.
It's so sad to
Deep,
me. That's like
yeah.
a whole other can of worms.
Different podcast.
Different podcast, guys.
We're
Not even
not going to
episode. I
soapbox
feel
that
like
right now.
I know. I don't even feel like that's a topic we can cover on our podcast.
No. It's too crazy, and there's too many varying opinions.
There are. And honestly, I feel like it's kind of like a situational thing and not
Mm-hmm.
school shootings, but guns and gun control and all of
Mm-hmm.
that.
Yep.
What do you have for us this week?
So I have 2.
Woohoo!
I know. So the first one is an interesting story from my new state.
Woohoo!
And get this, it involves a train. Haha. I know what you're all thinking, but that case is in Tennessee. And that's a whole different story.
Oh, God. The memes are funny, though. But go
They
on.
are funny. I love them. But so this story happened on the Joliet Metro train, where Steven Spangler was standing on the side waiting for his train when 49-year-old unhoused resident, Carlos Hernandez, pushed him off the side.
Mm.
Yeah, the video surveillance showed that Steven and Carlos were talking right before Carlos pushed him over. Like, you're just standing there talking, gets mad at you and pushes you onto the rails. Like, rude.
Yeah, were they friends before?
No, they were just two guys standing there having a chat, a chitty chat,
A chitty
and
chat.
apparently Carlos got mad and pushed him over.
Oh my God.
So Steven was ran over by two trains and decapitated.
Oh my gosh.
Carlos was arrested and charged with first-degree murder, and he's currently being held on a $1 million bond in the Will County Jail.
Jeez
So,
Louise.
yeah, that's interesting. So, my second story is from Colorado, not too far from where I lived, actually. So, February 19th, 2023, Fort Collins Police Services, they don't like to be called Fort Collins Police Department, they're Fort Collins Police Services, responded to a shoplifting incident at a store in Southeast Fort Collins. Officers located the suspect, later identified as Patricia Rodriguez, and transported her to the Larimer County Jail. This, people, is where it gets interesting. After entering the vehicle bay, the arresting officer secured his duty weapon, which is required prior to entering the booking area. When the officer tried to remove Rodriguez from the vehicle, he found that she had slipped out of her handcuffs, manipulated the storage safety measures, and accessed his gun. She attempted to take him hostage at gunpoint, but the officer was able to escape to the secure booking area. The suspect then barricaded in the police vehicle and refused to come out. Fort Collins police officers, Larimer County Sheriff's deputies, the LCSO All Hazards Crisis Response Team, Fort Collins Police Services SWAT Team, LCSO Crisis Negotiators, Poudre Valley Fire Authority, and UC Health EMS all responded to assist.
What a mess.
So, I'm not trying to make fun of them, but for God's sakes. Law enforcement used numerous less than lethal tools in an effort to get Rodriguez to surrender. So, approximately 7:30 p.m., 3 hours later from the time she was arrested, she exited the vehicle and was safely taken into custody with the assistance of the LCSO K9. Rodriguez was evaluated by medical personnel, then booked into Larimer County on 3 active warrants, 2 no-bond felony, 1 misdemeanor, and the following charges: first-degree assault, which is a felony; first-degree aggravated robbery, also a felony; attempted second-degree kidnapping, which is also a felony; criminal mischief, a felony; disarming a police officer, felony; and resisting arrest.
Which is just a
So-
misdemeanor, and we just threw it in there.
Yeah, right? like the rest of it. I mean, she is in Larimer County, so I'm sure her bond will be like $2,000, but yeah, whatever.
Ugh. Welcome to
Yeah.
the U.S. judicial system.
Mm-hmm. So, and I'm also not saying that crime should be expensive, but I think you should assign bonds according to the charges and not just because you want people to get out of jail. So, according to the sheriff, John Fayan, he says this suspect showed a disturbing disregard for the lives of first responders, the inmates in our care, and our community. He also says that he is extremely grateful to everyone who worked together to safely resolve this incident and minimize disruption to jail operations. Challenging situations like this demonstrate the importance of top-notch training and strong relationships. So, according to the Larimer County website, Fort Collins Police Services will file separate charges for the initial theft incident, and her booking photo was not available. So, and all charges are merely an accusation, and the defendant is proved innocent until and unless proven guilty. Can you imagine the whole jail being on lockdown for 3 hours?
Oh my God. No.
Because
Do you know how
someone's
busy
being held
booking would have
hostage in
been?
the
I
Sally
mean, it would have
Port.
been really fun to watch.
While all the while he's running away,
Oh my God.
trying to get into the secure booking area.
Right. As she has his secured duty
Yeah,
weapon? Hmm.
yeah. Mhm. Whole
Um,
'nother podcast.
yes. I did want to mention they had a canine that was actually killed in the line of duty. His name
Mm.
was Graffite, I believe.
Oh, where
And
was this at?
this was in Golden. He was killed
Oh.
on February 13th of this year, after an incident occurred at the School of Mines.
Oh,
I know.
that's too bad.
I know. That always makes me really sad.
Mhm.
All right, friends, without further ado, let's get into the murder of Lea Porter. Lea was just 19 years old when she went missing on June 3rd, 2014. Her disappearance is almost too wild to even believe. So, Leah's brother and his friend were actually the ones who obtained a confession from a former friend turned criminology student. But before we get into the details of her disappearance, let's talk about the person at the root of our story, Lea. So, Lea was funny, smart, beautiful, a sister, and a daughter. She was born on December 28th, 1994. She had her whole life ahead of her. Her mom described her as social and kind of a joker. Her brother was her best friend. She was constantly taking selfies and documenting her life. Her life got a little complicated when she began dating a man who was 20 years older than she was. She had plans of becoming a massage therapist, but those plans changed when she began using heroin regularly and dropped out of college. She tried to get sober, even attending Narcotics Anonymous meetings. 6 months later, Lea was single with no place to live, depressed, and battling a raging addiction. Her boyfriend, Jesse, had moved back to the East Coast, and Lea was couch surfing her way through the Denver metro area. Leah's mom, Renee, and brother, Max, tried to no avail to reach Lea. They called, but became concerned when her phone, which seemed to be permanently attached to her, went to voicemail. Max called Leah's now ex boyfriend, Jesse, demanding to know where she was. Jesse told Max that the two were in constant contact after he left, but he hadn't heard from her in several days. Jesse immediately knew something was wrong. He knew how close Max and Lea were. They spoke daily. Jesse was brought in for questioning, but had a strong alibi and wasn't considered a suspect.
While police were speaking with Jessie, Renee began scouring her phone records for clues. She noticed that Leah had called the same number multiple times. That number belonged to Christopher Wade. Christopher and Leah had grown up in Cotopaxi, Colorado together and attended the same high school. Christopher was a choir and a theater kid. He had joined the army after graduating and worked as a helicopter mechanic, which, if you can get into that, that's a freaking good job.
Heck yeah.
He served, yeah, he served in the military for 2 years and then decided to attend college. He was majoring in criminal justice. His plan was to become a police officer.
So this totally gives me Brian Koberger vibes,
Right.
which,
Only
if you
two
guys don't
years in the
know,
military? Like,
well,
hmm.
Homeboy
Yeah,
had
that's
some,
suspicious, right?
Homeboy had some
Mm,
troubles. But if you guys don't know who Brian Koberger is, he is the suspect in the University of Idaho murders. But go on.
Renee called Christopher and he told her he was Leah's accountability partner to help her stay clean, a sort of sponsor situation. Christopher told Renee that Leah had been in his apartment at the night of June 3rd but left abruptly without reason. He said that was the last time he spoke to Leah. This came as a shock to Renee. As far as she knew, her daughter wasn't on drugs again. Renee felt off about the conversation and reported it to the police. He was brought in for questioning. Westminster police were told a similar story as Renee. He was Leah's accountability partner. She had stopped by on the evening of June 3rd but left with someone in a white truck. He then added that the two had gone to Boston Market for dinner and then went back to his apartment to play video games. Shortly after that was when she supposedly left in the white truck.
Christopher might have gotten away with being the cooperative friend if he hadn't appeared to be over cooperative. This only furthered the family's suspicion. Leah's vehicle and all her belongings were found in the parking lot of the apartment complex Christopher lived in. The vehicle was processed for blood and DNA, but nothing was discovered. Police suspicion grew stronger when it was discovered that Christopher had been discharged from the military after he admitted that he tried to rape and murder a girl in high school, but was scared away by a family member who happened to be home at the time. Police had nothing to tie Christopher to Lea's disappearance, but felt he was their guy. He was under constant surveillance in hopes he would accidentally lead investigators to her. This is when the family's frustration came to a boiling point. Max decided to leave his life in California and return home to find Lea. He reached out to former friends from high school for more information on Christopher. He was informed that Christopher kept a very detailed journal chock full of sadistic fantasies. His writings depicted his desire for sex slaves and gory rape and murder scenes.
Gross.
Right?
Yeah. So, Max, he went and befriended Christopher. He wanted to get close enough that Christopher would trust him. Again, bad plan. I
Yes,
don't
don't do
know.
this, guys.
This has happened the last 2 podcasts. Like, what are you doing? So he knew that if he jumped the gun, Christopher would shut down and the family would never know what happened to Lea. When Max felt he had built enough trust, he and a friend decided to confront Christopher in a park. The interaction was recorded, and no one, not even Max, could have predicted what Christopher would say. Christopher began to explain June 3rd to Max. He said the two went and grabbed dinner at a nearby Boston market and then returned and had consensual sex. Then Lea asked for drug money, and Christopher said no. He claimed that Lea became enraged, grabbed a knife, and tried to stab him, all while demanding money for drugs.
Let's
Chris,
mention, though, that she was 98 pounds, guys. She was not a big person by any stretch of the imagination.
no, she was tiny,
Itty
tiny.
bitty little thing.
So Christopher told Max, remember, this is Leah's brother, that he grabbed Lea by the throat to get her to let go of the knife. He said, I thought her muscles would relax when she went unconscious, and then I could gradually move the knife away and let her go to regain her consciousness. But that didn't happen. Max punched Christopher in the face, as any good brother would have,
Hell yeah.
before his friend pulled him off, and the two called the police. That's when Max forced Christopher to confess to the dispatcher. The two men subdued Christopher until the police arrived, which didn't take long. Police had been suspicious of Christopher since their first interaction and had him under surveillance. In fact, the police were watching while Max and his friend went all vigilante. Christopher was taken into custody and quickly lawyered up.
So, this Boston market in question,
Mm-hmm.
that's actually where I got my first dog. I had to fight a little
You're,
girl for him.
oh,
Yeah, it's where we got Riley.
oh, nice.
I
You had to
know.
fight a child?
Well, it
You do
wasn't
that
my
a lot.
finest moment.
Fighting children all over the world.
You know, it happens.
When I got Franklin, it wasn't my finest moment either. I also fought a child.
See?
Yeah.
I
Kid
held
tried
him
to stick my
first.
dog. Me
Exactly.
too.
We went inside because we were like, I think we were still 17 when we got Riley, Chris and
Mhm.
I. And we went inside and we were like, do we really
Do
need to
we
get a
want a dog?
puppy? And I was like, fuck yes, we want a puppy. Because that's just like who I am as a person, even now. And we went back and this little kid was holding Riley, and I was like,
You're like, I'm sorry, that's my dog.
yeah, I was like, we'll take a puppy, but we want that one that she's holding. And the guy was like, I'm so sorry. They were here first. I was like, thank you. But anyway,
I digress.
I digress. So while talking to police after his telephone confession, Christopher stayed true to his story that Lea had attacked him with a knife, but now he admitted to killing her in self-defense. After he killed her, he immediately began using his skills he learned in criminology school to cover up her murder. Christopher said, quote, I reclothed her and placed her on the bed while I started off gathering her belongings from where they were in the living room and bringing them into my bedroom, end quote. He then forced Leah's body into a duffel bag and said he threw her away in the complex's trash. After officers received this information, they began searching the landfills. Teams spent 40 days searching for Leah's body, 40 days sifting through trash, 40 days hoping to give Leah's family closure. 40 days, but still came up empty handed. Leah's body wasn't located in the landfill. A pillowcase with her cell phone, wallet, ID, and her clothes were found, but not Leah. Not the most important part. Without a body, prosecutors offered him a plea. Christopher Wade, now known as prisoner number 170598, pleaded guilty to second-degree murder and was sentenced to a whopping 48 years in prison. He will be eligible for parole in 2048. At the time of this recording, Leah's body has not been found. Any tips regarding her whereabouts can be shared with Fremont County Crime Stoppers at 719-275-7867 via email at investigations@fremontso.com or by sending a private message on the Help Find Leah Facebook page. So what do you think, Corey? Do you think that justice was served?
I think 48 years for second-degree murder is a pretty long time. I don't think he'll be out on parole. He's a psychopath. However, I don't think he threw her body in the dumpster. I think he knows exactly where it is, and I think he's just not saying.
I agree.
I think, I mean, he did something with that body, and it wasn't a dumpster.
No, he had plans of doing this for so long.
He had
'Cause he-
notebooks filled with this sort of thing. Like,
Right.
he knew what he was doing. Plus, he was taking criminology. Like,
This was a game to him. She's a
Yeah.
trophy, and when he's released, he will go find her.
Yep. Hopefully, he won't be released for a long time. How old
F
was
that
he when he
guy.
went to jail?
He was young, 26, I believe.
Oh, so he'll be 70 in his 70s
Mm-hmm.
when he finally gets out. If he gets out, if he doesn't die in prison. I mean, 70 is a bit old to. I mean, it could happen, but crazy.
Just a bad dude.
Yeah.
And like, good for her brother. I think that's so cool. I mean,
yeah.
gutsy
Don't do
and
it.
stupid, but I mean, the case wouldn't have gotten as far as it did without her brother. I don't think.
Yeah. I have a little news thing that I wanted to mention real quick. There was a police officer and a canine killed in their patrol car when a vehicle hit them, and also killed a pedestrian. It was in Kansas City. He worked for the Kansas City Police Department, so well, that's a little bit sad. And his dog was only 3, and they were just sitting in their car, and a car came by, hit them, and killed them and an additional pedestrian. So,
Oh man, that is sad.
yeah, it just happened on the 16th, so not that long ago.
I hate when dogs die.
I know. Hold on, just 1 second. Sorry, my wife is leaving for work.
Gosh, bye, wife.
I know. Amanda says bye, wife.
Bye. Somebody has to make some money around here.
She said somebody has to make some money.
Come on.
You're damn right. Now get to work.
Amanda says you're damn right. Now get to work.
She's like, fuck both of you. I'm out of here.
Yeah, pretty much.
I love you. Have a good day. Sorry you have to go to work. Work blows chunks.
It really does. Okay. I think our talking in between is pretty good too. I think we should keep that up.
I know. I feel like I kicked it all out this episode. And now
I know, you're so rude.
I know. And now there's no chitty chatting. Now people are going to be like, ugh,
This podcast blows.
all they ever talk about is murder.
So I have a little story to tell. So, as you all know, I moved from Colorado to Illinois. I've only said it in every single podcast because, I'm a Leo and a narcissist. So, there's that.
That's your personality now.
That's my personality now.
moved.
I moved.
I'm new here.
I'm new here. Yeah, that's my whole personality now.
4 years later, Corey's still new.
Right, I'm still new, still moved here.
We just
This is
moved
just
in.
how it is. Just moved in. So, and I worked at the jail in Weld County for the second time because I just couldn't quit that place. I had an addiction. It's fine, whatever. So on my last couple of my last week or so there, I decided that torturing my boss was my new game. And if you all know me, when I do something, I go all in. Like it is that's my whole goal. It's my job. So shout out to my boss, Captain Turner. He was
Thanks,
great.
Turner.
Yeah, he's a great dude. He is a fantastic leader. And he's also fantastic because he has a lovely, lovely 8x10 photo of me in a lovely picture frame that I used glitter on and wrote my name and wrote his name in glitter, and glitter and glue, like I'm a second grader.
He hates you.
Yeah, and it's a fantastic picture of me at my going away party where I look so happy. And so that's one of my coworkers put it on his credenza. So, so he has a reminder of how amazing I was. And my arm does not get tired, in case you're all wondering, of patting myself on the back.
We were all wondering. We really were.
It doesn't get tired. So then, because, I'm dramatic, I also sent him flowers the last week of January. So he had, a little time to think that I wasn't up to anything. And it's a lovely, lovely sympathy plant. Because, sad. I was leaving, and it says always in our hearts on the pot, and it's a plant, not flower, so he can look at it, enjoy these lovely roses that I had sent to him, and with a little card that says, I'm so sorry you have to miss me, because like I said in previous, I'm a Leo and a little bit of a narcissist. So shout out to my former boss who now has a picture and a plant, a reminder of me in his office. He was a little sketched out when these plants got sent to him.
He's
My
like, who
coworker
died?
said, yeah. He thought it was a scam. And my old coworker said that he's never laughed so hard as when he found out that it was from me, my coworker, not he's like, when I told him he first had flowers, he was suspicious. He was like, I'm afraid this is a bomb. And then he read the card and said, are you freaking kidding me? And it's from Corey.
Oh my God, I love it. I gave you a sympathy card too.
I know.
I'm sorry for your loss. The loss of me. Because you're moving from me.
Yeah.
I love it.
And then my former coworker said that was the most Coreyest thing ever.
A Coreyism.
Yeah. Well, we have a saying there, WWKD. What would Corey do?
Oh my God. We have a WWKD, but it's what would Chris do? And it's funny because Chris is like, I love you, honey, but you're incredibly anal, and he vacuums all the time. And he actually told me yesterday that I throw him under the bus in every episode, so I had to get my little dig in there. But my sister-in-law was like, we'll go to put something on the counter, and then I remember WWKD. What would Chris do? He'd put it away right away. So now I just put it away. So, Janie, I hope you know Chris is always with you. WWKD.
I do want to throw you both under the bus. You do have a lot of freaking vacuums.
We do. We
have
have
a vacuum everywhere.
We have Annie, Rosie, and Jarvis. Then we have 2 regular, floor vacuums.
It's not like you guys have a lot of carpet either.
We have 0 carpet, but we used to have a lot of carpet, and we used to have a lot of dogs.
We don't have carpet either. We also have 2 vacuums.
My dogs kicked the bucket. They all decided they didn't love us this year. It was very sad.
It is sad. I'm sorry
I
about
know.
your loss.
Thank you. I expect
You're
a
welcome.
plant. No, we do. We do have a lot of
I said
vacuums.
sorry.
That's all you're getting, damn it. Be grateful I even said that. You're
Remember?
right.
Narcissist.
Yeah, we do. We have a lot of vacuums. Chris is
Yeah,
really anal.
he's a clean freak, that boy.
Yeah.
But I'm like that too. If I see cups laying around, I empty whatever's in them and put them in the dishwasher. And somebody will be like, "Hey, where's my cup?" And I'm like, "Oh, took it. Put it in the dishwasher. Don't
Chris
leave it on
does
the
that.
counter."
I'm like,
I was
where's my
drinking out of
cup?
that.
He's like, oh, I thought you were done. I'm like, it
Mhm.
was still piping hot. Like I just poured myself a cup of tea. And he's like, oh, sorry.
Threw that away.
It's
Sucks to be
okay.
you.
Pretty much. Thanks, honey. One time he actually threw away my Mother's Day gift from Lincoln. Lincoln made me like this whole little, like, I think it was a rocket.
Oh,
And
nice.
Chris threw it away. And Lincoln was so mad. And he
I'd be mad
cried. And
too.
we had to go dig through the trash. And it was like this whole thing. And then Lincoln was more pissed that I had a present
Trash
from the
on it.
trash. Yeah.
Mhm.
I was like, it's fine. I still have it. We saved it because I was like, whoa, man.
I just have an upstairs vacuum and a downstairs vacuum, and currently my upstairs vacuum is possessed. So
Ooh.
it just starts vacuuming on random times and random days that it's not scheduled. So I'm not really sure what's going on with it. I need to sit down and like research problems with it on the internet because I'm not even kidding you. It just vacuums whenever it feels like it.
I should start my vacuum now. Speaking of which, I have not checked though to see if there's dog babies in the way.
Oh,
Not the dogs, but their babies. But I just
Mm.
started it, so we'll see.
my littlest dog likes to stand in front of it because he knows it'll move around him.
Aww.
Yeah, he's kind of a dick with the vacuum.
Luna doesn't like the vacuum. Penny's terrified of him. And Luna will stand there like, why are you trying to fuck with my sister, man? And Penny's like, oh, God.
This vacuum is so scary.
Oh, yeah. She's neurotic. I painted yesterday, and I had like a big 5-gallon bucket of paint. I had 2 little paints, like gallon bucket paints. And then I had a ladder, and they were by the basement door. And Penny's weird about that anyway, because it's like the basement door and then the stairs that go up. And she just thinks like that area is going to steal her soul. So I had to take everything downstairs before I could record because she was trapped in the living room.
She's like, I can't.
Oh,
I
yeah.
can't do it.
And then all of a sudden you hear like, and that's her trying to get her traction on the floor as she's trying to run by it. Oh, she's a nut. Dogs are so funny. This weekend,
They really are.
Well, we put new headlights in Chris's truck.
Oh, nice.
Well, we couldn't see anything. And so we put new headlights in, and we had like the door into the house open from the garage. And Luna kept coming out, and she would stand there and she'd cry and cry and cry. Chris is like, what's wrong with her? I was like, well, she wants in the truck. So I'd have to open the door and let her in so she could pretend to drive.
That's how Franklin is. He needs to sit in the car all the
Yeah.
time when we're out. Yeah.
Yep. Luna too. She doesn't want to actually like do anything. I mean, like she likes to go for rides, but she just wanted to sit in there. And she was crying, crying, crying.
Dogs.
They're the
Dogs,
best.
kids, like, I don't know.
Oh,
I don't have any
speaking of children.
small children, so.
True. I don't know. Your child's still funny though.
She is funny.
But speaking of children, I was talking about a crazy person that I've been ranting about for a while now. And we were driving to school, and Emerson's in the back seat, and she goes, Mom, is that person like really crazy? Like they've been diagnosed by a doctor? And I was like, well, no, just by me. And she goes, oh my gosh, Mom, I do that too. I diagnose people all the time. I just don't say it out loud. And I was like, damn it.
I love that kid. I'm really glad you had her for me.
I'm so glad I had her for you too.
We text each other, like, Like she's a pretty cool kid.
She is pretty rad. She's pretty funny.
She is funny.
My prison baby.
Mm-hmm.
Chris always tells people that he raised Emerson by himself for 3 years because I was in jail. Fuck off, man.
I mean, he's not lying.
Right. Damn it. That story makes
the
Lincoln
funniest thing.
so mad every time. He's like, Mommy was not in jail. She worked there. And then it's even more funny because he's like really upset about it, like genuinely like
I know
thinks that Chris thinks I was in prison.
He's very sensitive.
He is very sensitive. He's the best.
Mm-hmm.
But he is very sensitive.
That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that.
No. I just sometimes don't know how to handle him and sensitivity.
Yeah, because we're not sensitive people.
No.
It's hard to not laugh at it.
I know. And then I feel bad.
Mm-hmm.
I do spend a lot of time like, buddy, I'm really sorry. I didn't mean to laugh. I know you were upset.
I'm sorry you thought your problems were really terrible. Are you
Right.
homeless? No. Are you starving? No.
Right.
Sorry you can't play with your friends on Thursdays.
Oh my God. Should we do our shout out?
Sure. Let's shout out some people. Shouty, shouty.
Shout it out.
I mean, last episode we said shout out like a lot.
Oh my
so
God.
we toned it
We
down
really
a little.
did. I was editing and I was like, we've said shout out like 17 times.
17 times. So let's shout out to some subscribers because everybody likes to hear their name out loud. Probably not as much as me, but whatever. We do want to give a shout out to a subscriber, Amber Priestley, who is amazing, by the way.
Woo-hoo.
This is her second review. She did review us on Spotify where you can't, it's not like a written review, it's a numbers review, which is also fine. We love stars too. I want to give a little shout out to her business. She has a craft business on Etsy, Rocky Mountain Country Crafts. So go ahead and head on over there to Etsy and look what she has to offer. I've gotten a couple of things from her. They're all really adorable. She writes, love listening to this podcast. Amanda and Corey's dynamic is witty because we're hilarious.
We really are.
And brings a lot of lividity to some otherwise heavy topics and situations. I also appreciate the extra respect and light given to the victims rather than their perpetrators. Keep it up, ladies. We'd like to thank you so much for this review. It really does help us.
Thank you, Amber.
And we do enjoy, I think more focus needs to be on victims and less focus needs to be on perpetrators because the one thing all killers have in common is that they like to hear the sound of their own voice and their own names. And I think the more we talk about them, the more fame it gives them and the less fame it gives victims. And to be honest, it really is hard to find a lot of information on victims because they want to talk so much about the actual perpetrator. That's why there's so much information on killers and not a lot of information on victims, which is kind of sad. It's really not kind of sad. It is really sad. So that sucks.
It does. It really is a goal of ours to make sure that the victim is and always is the center of our stories.
Yes, we want their stories to be heard.
Absolutely. So we also have a review from our former coworker Ryan's wife. So she wrote, quote, love the podcast. Thanks for the shout out on the last episode, end quote. So she gets 2 in a row because she's awesome. Thank you, former coworker Ryan's wife, whose actual name is Lisa. We really appreciate you guys and your kind words, though. So thank you so much. And next week, we are going to discuss the murder of Thomas Clements. He was the head of the Department of Corrections before he was murdered at his own home in 2013.
That was a scary murder.
It really was.
Mm-hmm. Especially for people who worked in the correction field.
Mm-hmm.
Even like because DOC and county are 2 different types of lockups.
Yes.
Department of Corrections is a little bit, that's where you're sentenced, you've actually been sentenced to like
prison time.
Prison time. Yeah, not jail time. Jail time is different than prison time. Just keep
Yes,
that in
jail
mind. So,
time is county.
right. So people who say, "Yeah, that guy went to prison and he only served like 30 days," that's most likely county, not prison.
Mhm.
Just a little FYI and some prison jargon,
Yes,
jail jargon.
in case you're
Uh,
if you're ever on Jeopardy, now you know.
yeah, the more you know.
The more you know.
So that's going to be a super great episode. Make sure to listen. Fridays 10:30 Mountain Standard Time. We hope you guys are enjoying all our social media posts. I'm having a lot of fun doing those. I love looking for pictures of blood and guts and gore. And stay tuned this week. Yeah, I got some pretty good facts about blood, some fingerprint facts, some serial killer facts. Shout out to Robin Turley because she really loves serial killer facts.
Ooh!
Yeah, she loves them. I was doing them for a while. I had a wipe off board on my office door where I had a dad joke, and then my office mate, I put a wipe off board on his door because, again, I'm bossy and I like people
What?
to do what I want.
What?
I know,
All
it's
those
shocking.
forced Halloween parties and all those
Forced
pictures
fun.
we had to take?
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
bossy.
I just know what you should be doing.
Exactly.
So I would write a serial killer fact on his board until the ladies in inmate services said that they were getting disturbed by all the facts. So I was like, fine, we'll do puppy facts, whatever.
Damn it.
I know. So shout
Some
out to
people are
Robin.
so
So
sensitive.
she's really enjoying these.
Hi, Robin.
She
I love
likes
you.
them a lot.
I'm
so
her favorite, in
she
case you
likes
guys
them.
are wondering. And she doesn't like anybody, but she loves me. I love you.
A funny story about her and I like to say we didn't like each other. She likes to say that she liked me.
Lies.
It's lies. All lies. So if you're listening, Robin, I love you as well.
You're the best.
So leave a review on Facebook. Start some conversations over there. You can start conversation on Instagram. You can give us topics. Don't forget to send me your jokes. I love reading dad jokes. It might get read on the podcast. It might get put on the Facebook page. You just never know. You can send them to our email. It's either Amanda@ColoradoCrimePodcast.com or Corey@ColoradoCrimePodcast.com.
And that's
Or you
Corey
can
with a
DM
K.
them. Yeah, Corey with a K. Kori.
Yep.
And Amanda, common spelling.
There's really
So
not another way to spell it. I mean, you could do like AMANDUH, but I don't want to be Amanda.
or like an at symbol or something. I don't know.
Ooh. I like that one.
Like an at sign, like AM at sign ANDA.
Yes. I tried
How
to
do
go
you
by
just say
Mandy
that?
for a while, but I
I
wanted to
don't
be
like
Mandy
that.
with 2 eyes.
Oh,
Oh, yeah. I was a
I
whole
wanted
vibe for a minute.
when I was younger, I wanted to change the name, my spelling of my name because I thought it was lame. I mean, Kori is pretty cool. Not a lot of people have it, but I wanted to be Korrie because,
Ooh.
5th grade was fancy.
You
So
know,
I tried writing it like that for a while and it didn't catch on.
that's so funny. That's what happened with Mandy with an I. I've never gone by Mandy, by the way.
Yeah.
My mom,
No.
vehemently,
Yeah. You're not a
no,
teeny bopper from the valley.
no. Or Mandy Moore,
Not
but
that
I
I'm
do love her.
stereotyping.
No.
But Mandy Moore is like Mandy Moore. Like,
She's the best.
she's always been Mandy.
I just love her.
Sometimes you don't have to nickname. There doesn't have to be nicknames. We don't have to nickname.
I made sure my kids were able to have nicknames because
Right.
I really wanted that.
Because you wanted a nickname?
I did. Honestly, I went by Lurch for like the majority of my childhood. Or
because you
Lurchy.
didn't. Oh, well, you do have an Addams Family last name.
Yes, I did
Mm-hmm.
before.
Yeah. Before
And
you
so-
got the big ball and chain, Christopher.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, Chris. Kidding. I love you. Not as much as Robin, though. Robin, you're still my favorite.
Christopher, you're number 4. fine. It's Robin,
I mean, we don't
your
need to
2
go.
kids, then you.
Oh,
Whatever.
I got the dogs in there too.
Okay, so 10.
You made it in my top 8, okay?
I mean, that's all we can hope for.
That was a MySpace joke for those of you who are old enough
Had
to
some MySpace.
understand. I had a dream about MySpace the other day.
I loved MySpace.
I did too. You could have music.
Yeah, and you could customize like your backgrounds and stuff. Like you could code and do your
You
own
could
backgrounds. It
code.
was so cool.
It was cool. I didn't know what the hell I was doing.
Me neither, but I always had a fancy background.
Hell yeah, me too.
I even did one of my coworkers' backgrounds.
I did not.
That was before she hated me. So, whatever.
I
I
did
don't know
not
how
have a
anyone could
coworker.
hate this face. My face made for
I was
radio.
gonna say that. That's so funny. All right, crime fans. Until next time. Thank you so much for joining us today. Please keep the case requests coming. If you haven't already, please subscribe so you can be notified every time we upload. If you enjoy listening to us every week, please leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to your podcasts. We will pick another listener next week for another shout out. New episodes are released every Friday at 10:30 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. Please follow us on Instagram at Colorado Crime Pod or on Facebook at Colorado Crime Podcast for information on next week's episode, as well as other true crime happenings. We hope you have a beautiful day wherever you are, and as always, stay safe.
Well, kids, eventually one of these taglines will stick and I'll keep the same one, but probably not. So, it's so hard to leave until you leave, and then it's the easiest thing in the world. Bye-bye for now.